No, well, this is what my karate teacher said.
Well, he's a karate teacher, so just go up there and beat his ass, Renaissance.
Yeah, fair.
Renaissance, do you shave with a straight razor, or you sound like you shave with a straight razor?
I do indeed. You read people well, Mike.
Man, I'm good. This is the Icy Mike Imperfect podcast. Oh, man. I got to brag a little bit on my own ability there to read people. You know, that comes from being really old and just knowing lots of fuckers. West Texas Wolf, you are live on the Icy Mike Imperfect podcast.
What's good, Murder Mike?
How are you?
Good, man. Hey, I had a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Hey, I know you worked in law enforcement prior.
I was going to say, are you a cop?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you look like a cop.
Hey, brother, do you think that there's a... Hell yeah, man. Do you think there's a taser dependency in law enforcement?
Yes, I think, and I think it's a big problem. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Are you confident that I already know kind of what you're asking?
Yes, sir, because I think I share the same opinion.
Yeah, so let me give you a little confirmation bias. Add to that bias. I think that when that thing works, it works so well. When the taser works as intended, that thing is awesome. That thing is a magic spell. The problem is, what is the rate of success on it, West Texas? What isn't it, like 60%? Then have like 40% failure? I don't know the exact number. Don't quote me on it, but I know that it's not good enough. Well,
yeah, I did a research study. I looked up some stuff that LAPD did, and back in 2015, I believe it was only 48% successful out of all their taser deployments in that year.
It's a coin flip when you use that thing.
Right. And I did a podcast on it last week about the taser dependency, and I've seen a lot of officers freeze when they don't have a backup plan when that thing fails. They don't know how to engage a suspect that's actively resisting, be it striking or grappling.
They don't know how to fucking fight.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have to talk like you anymore. They don't know how to fucking fight. Because here's this is the biggest hole in defensive tactics, and you can think on this since you're you seem very passionate about it, like you actually want to like fix this and change it. The hole is in, they tell a kid at the academy, they teach him exactly what to do when he says, turn around, put your hands behind your back, and how to prone someone out. They tell him exactly what to do when the suspect follows all your commands. And then they teach you exactly what to do when a suspect is trying to fucking kill you. You know what I mean? I feel 100% confident in the law enforcement training that I was both a part of as a student and in charge of as an instructor. I was 100% confident in the training in both those areas. Compliant suspect and lethal force. I've always said I have no problem with the way that law enforcement, for the most part, obviously it varies department, instructor. But shooting a motherfucker that's trying to shoot you is a no-brainer. Like if you just teach a person how to shoot good, and then they can shoot good, you know? The problem is everything in between those two extremes is under-repped. It's under-represented, and it's there's not enough focus on it. They don't teach these motherfuckers how to fight.
Fuck no, they don't. Because I remember in my academy, they tried teaching us some bullshit like carotid artery chops and bullshit like that. That was
now
supposedly...
I've knocked a few guys out with the brachial stun in real life on duty.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
You're never going to deliver that if you don't also know like how to move in and out with footwork and how to, keep your wits about you and stay composed.
Exactly. And, I've trained extensively in, jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and all that. And I know that that's helped me a lot more than the bullshit that was taught to me in the police academy back in 2011.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's proven, like, the techniques that come from those arts are honed in combat. They're honed in competition. So guys love the taser because they don't have to get hurt to use it. It's basically you're wielding the power of the gods in your hand. You are harnessing lightning and putting it in a person. It's a fucking magic spell. But it has a 50% failure rate. So then you're left with this thing in your hand. And that's why, and the lack of training in the middle ground of fighting is the reason why you have both officers getting hurt and officers using too much force, because they freak the fuck out. You know, they either freeze
it's
up
become
and do
an
nothing.
albatross.
Yeah, they freeze up and do nothing, or they go ham sandwich on the dude and beat his brains in, and then you're like, well, you shouldn't have done that either. Just because you got a little bump or a little scratch or whatever, you got to keep your composure. Seth,
Yeah, I mean, overall, the objective is to take the guy into custody with the least amount of force possible.
Right. Seth, you still on?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Seth's like, I don't know. I don't do that stuff.
I mean, this isn't really my subject. I'm just happy to help, you know?
But absolutely, West Texas, I think that they're too dependent on it. And the problem is that repping out what it would require to teach a guy to fight involves injuries, involves time, involves people having to take time off, because you can't. I don't know a single person that's good at fighting that hasn't been home injured from training at fighting.
Right. Yeah, I understand that.
Seth, can you think of a person that you know that's very, very good at fighting people that has not had to sit at home for several weeks because of an injury related to training to fight people?
No. If you're not putting yourself in that danger, it's just mannequin training, pretty much, where you're like, oh, here's a situation, let's move slowly through it, and ideally this would happen.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I understand that, because I've seen a lot of that shit where people were, you know, even small town officers like where I work, you know, they're so quick to reach for that taser. And I always tell them, you know, what are you going to do when that thing fails? Do you have any background that's going to help you for a backup plan, you know, be it striking or grappling? And I've been trying to hammer that home to some of the guys that I've worked with at previous agencies is, you know, what do you have after that taser fails? Because it's going to fail when you need it to. What are you going to do?
You won't, dude. I have friends. I have a couple friends here that train at two different Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. One of them is a Helson Gracie black belt, and one of them's a purple belt. And they're both one of them still is a police officer. The other one's a previous police officer, and they have both begged and begged and begged and begged every single officer they know to come train with them for free anytime. And I don't know that they've ever gotten a single person to take them up on it.
Yeah, I think I've only gotten two people to go along with the grappling aspect, but I also think that striking has its place in it. Striking, yeah, my bad, man. I've had a little to drink, but I know that striking also has its place in it as far as distant management. Yeah, striking, but like distant management part of it as well can play into that as well, you know.
Pluto Journey in the Podbean chat says, Icy, would you suggest that law enforcement train with samurai swords? Yeah, but
the ass baton.
Yeah. Oh, man. White Belt Central says, that's insane. Why would you not learn how to prevent potential tragedy if you have a dicey encounter? White Belt Central, we already talked about it tonight, and West Texas Wolf here can back me up on this, because cops are like all creatures. They are prideful creatures with big egos. And to get better at fighting, you have to find out that you're not good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
And finding out that you're not good at it is scary and sucks.
It's also incredibly time intensive too.
Yeah.
The subtle nuances are the bits that everybody's missing out on like what fighting actually looks like.
Yeah. And it usually looks like a big pile of shit. It usually looks like a big clusterfuck. It never goes according to the demo. It never works that way.
Yeah, it's really hard to sell organizations something that looks like that when there's somebody else who's like, oh, well, you just hit this here and then you hit that there, and or you press this button and it works. Like that's really easy to sell and scale. Where
that's what they want. I get
movements.
contacted whenever I get contacted, and when I talked with Ryan Hoover, he goes through this big time because he's at the level where he gets some big gigs, like working for federal law enforcement agencies, and every time they're like confused as fuck because they hired him to do one thing, but he came in to do a different thing, and he's basically teaching wrestling 101, and they're like, wait, we wanted to learn if they grab you here, then you do this, and if they grab you there, you do that, and if they have a knife, you do this. Like the traditional self-defense type movements.
Yeah, it's terrible to see officers because you can kind of see them broken, when that thing fails, and there's hundreds of videos out there.
It's the blue screen of death. They're just dunk. They're stuck there.
Yeah, they expect it to work, and when it doesn't, they have that deer in the headlights look of like, oh shit, what do I do next?
Yeah.
So
I don't know,
but I appreciate it.
I don't know what the solution is, man. We have to figure out. I don't either. Me and you need to figure out how to get these guys to train.
And I've told these guys, said, what are you going to do when you have to pursue somebody, the thing fails, and you need to get a takedown on them and control them on the ground until somebody gets there to help you out.
Yeah.
And they don't think this thing's going to fail. And I told them, there's hundreds of videos out there of this thing failing when you need it to work.
Yeah, but that won't happen to me because I'm special.
Yeah, exactly. It'll never happen to me until it does.
You're not special. Nobody's special. Thank you, West Texas Wolf, so much. We hope you call back soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm happy I could help you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Seth, you were a huge help there.